Okay, good morning. It is 8 o'clock. As soon as I see, oh, there's my recording button right on time. So good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Scar. Today is Tuesday, March 7th, 2023, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It is very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. All right, let's start with our Board of Commissioners roll call. Commissioner Bell.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning, Commissioner. Commissioner Yamamoto.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. All right, we will jump right into Adventist Health Tillamook. Eric.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Hey, we have 13 patients in the hospital today, 9 surgery cases scheduled, no patients boarding in the emergency department, and yesterday our ambulance crews did 3 911 transports. No transfers or transports home. In Oregon, we have 160 patients boarding in emergency departments waiting for bed assignment. That's 1 more than yesterday. 428 discharge delays, and that's 11 more than yesterday as well. And again, the reason those are important is it's throughput. So we end up seeing patients waiting longer for bed assignment. If we have to transfer a patient to Portland, sometimes it takes longer than we would like, and that's part of the reason because of those discharge delays. Last night we had the pleasure of hosting the Tillamook Bay Community College Education Board for their monthly meeting, and just really appreciated the time they spent here on our campus. I got to give them a quick tour, and it was great to hear about the updates that TBCC and all the great programs that they have going, and just a shout out to that group of people. Really appreciate their leadership, and we are blessed to have a community college like TBCC in our community. So unless you have questions, that's all I've got for you this morning.
Thank you, Eric. Are there any questions for Eric?
I don't have a question, but I would like to thank Eric for hosting us last night because I'm on the TBCC board. It was a terrific meeting. The hospital was a good venue for having it, and we enjoyed the tour, and it was really great to celebrate the partnership between TBCC and Adventist Health. And I agree that there were some exciting things were reported on in the meeting that I'll talk about more when it's my turn to talk. But I just want to thank Eric for supporting TBCC in the nursing program and in the development of the building and being a great partner.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's my pleasure.
All right, thank you both. Okay, we will move on. I am going to take just a pause for the Coastal Caucus. I don't believe any of them were able to join us, but I always like to ask. Okay, hearing nothing, I assume they are busy working away at the state capitol, and we thank them for that. Okay, moving on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center. I know I saw Ed Colson this morning. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Commissioner, and good morning, Tillamook County. For the Health Department's report, we just want to let everybody know that the month of March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, a national observance to highlight the importance of screening for colorectal cancer and to promote healthy lifestyle habits that can decrease a person's risk of developing cancer. Colorectal cancer is the 3rd most common cancer type in the U.S. and the 2nd most common cause of cancer death from cancers that affect both men and women. Colorectal cancer often starts with no signs or symptoms. Screening tests can detect cancer early when treatments work best. So it's recommended that all adults aged 45 to 75 be screened regularly for colorectal cancer. Talk to your primary healthcare provider about what kind of test is right for you. Now, in addition to early screening, there are lifestyle changes that can help reduce your risk of all types of cancer, such as quitting tobacco, maintaining a healthy weight, limiting alcohol consumption, eating more fruits and vegetables, and exercising regularly. This month also serves as a reminder to schedule your annual wellness exam. Wellness exams are a great opportunity to complete health screenings, which can help identify early signs of disease or illness. So give us a call at the Health Department, 503-842-3938 to schedule. Just as a reminder, if you are feeling ill with flu-like symptoms, please stay home and contact your healthcare provider to see about potential testing options. At-home testing kits are still available at no cost at all county library branches, as well as our clinic front desk. So just as a reminder, if you do test positive for COVID-19, please follow the OHA isolation guidelines to isolate, which means staying home from work and away from others for at least 5 days from the start of symptoms or a positive test result if you do not have symptoms. Please seek treatment as early as possible if you are at high risk of severe COVID-19 illness, and continue frequent hand washing and disinfecting of high-touch surfaces. It's not too late to get your flu shot or your COVID-19 booster to protect yourself from getting very sick. Our vaccines remain available by appointment at many healthcare facilities and pharmacies in Tillamook County, including at our main health center location. If you need additional resources or support with isolation or finding a vaccine, you can call our public health line at 503-842-3940 or at 211. And lastly, in collaboration with the Nestucca Valley School District, Tillamook County Community Health Centers will be hosting a family resource fair at the Nestucca K-8 school on March 16th. And that's going to go from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. during the parent-teacher conferences. We have over 11 organizations signed up to table, and we're excited to bring local resources directly to South County families. And that's our update, and we'll turn it back over to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Ed. Does anybody have any questions for Ed? Okay, not hearing any. We will keep going. So I have heard from Gail at Nahalen Bay Health Center and Pharmacy, and they are unable to join us this morning. Similarly with Frank from Tillamook Family Counseling, and I also have a note that the sheriff is unavailable this morning. So we will jump on down to Randy Thorpe with Emergency Management. Randy.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Well, to start off with, on this Thursday, we'll be having the Tillamook County Emergency Management Advisory Committee meeting, and so hopefully we'll be able to come up with some good direction and some good insight on how we want to move emergency management forward in Tillamook County. Well, and we are going to get rain every day this week, and they're looking at possibly as much as 4 inches by next Thursday, which is not too bad, you know, to have the rain spread out over that many days. And the reasons why is that we're always concerned about river flooding when we have a large snow melt and then possibly some extremely warm temperatures and heavy rain. So we've got the snow melt, but luckily our temperatures are staying, you know, down in the 40s during the day, and our amount of rain is only varying from 1/10 of an inch to about 1 inch per day. So the predictions are right now that we should be able to make it through the next few weeks without any major runoff and river flooding, which is always a plus. Since we've already had our windstorm and our snowstorm, I think we can go ahead and move into spring and summer now. Next week, we'll be holding the after-action review for that snowstorm that we had. After the windstorm, we held an after-action review and came up with some really good information and some good direction on where we can better our responses, and hopefully we'll come up with the same after this after-action. And the most exciting news is that some of you may remember, but we had the TC4 group that was meeting regularly before COVID, and we have revitalized that, and we'll be holding the first meeting on the 16th. And the Bay City Emergency Preparedness Committee is going to be hosting that at their meeting house there in Bay City. So really excited to get that group going again and getting all of our volunteer groups together and being able to discuss what's going well and what's not going well and how we can help each other and make this a better county, and working together and sharing resources. And that's all I have for today.
Thank you, Randy. Any questions for Randy this morning? Okay, mine's not a question, but just one comment that we are certainly hoping that our runoff does happen nice and slow and smoothly and brings our rivers only up to great fishing levels. So keep our fingers crossed, but also please remember to keep your eye to the weather forecast as things can change rapidly. And as much as we would hope that Randy's right, and we're headed into spring and summer, we just need to recognize we may have a little winter yet ahead of us. So thank you, Randy, for your optimism. I love it. Okay, moving on to the Oregon Department of Transportation. We have Bill Jablonski with us this morning. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Commissioner, and good morning, Tillamook County.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I was a pleasure to call in and update Tillamook County on the goings on with ODOT. I'll lead off my update today with the progress on Oregon 6 safety study that's underway. And on the 16th of February, we had an in-person as well as an online open house opportunity for folks to be able to weigh in. I have to say the attendance was very well attended on the in-person. I myself was included, was there as well too. We had 20 plus people show up in person at the Port of Tillamook Bay to participate in purpose and look at the slide areas and provide comments to us. I understand we had over 80 people submit comments on our online open house option. That was the same type of slide material information was shared just like on an online format that people could still leave comments as well too. So the status of that is we are collecting these comments and we are putting together our reviews for the stakeholder group and the technical group to review those comments back from the public. We look forward to having another public open house that we will share the actual project locations as well as the cost estimates for these issues and concerns that we have identified through the public and the stakeholder groups later this summer, like if it's June or July timeframe on that next public open house. Other things I want to update with you on is every 2 years, the Oregon Department of Transportation puts together a list of projects that we expect to be delivering statewide. We call it the STIP, the Statewide Transportation Improvement Program. So the STIP is now ready for public review for the 24-27 years. We are asking the OTC, the Oregon Transportation Commission, this week, Thursday, we're asking them to release the draft of the proposed projects for the 24-27 STIP, so the public then can review these projects. And I'm pleased to announce that in-person STIP open houses are back. You know, we had a hiatus because of COVID for a couple of years, but we are going to be in Tillamook County. ODOT staff will be in Tillamook County on March 23rd. From 4 to 6 p.m. out at the Port of Tillamook Bay. We welcome all the folks from Tillamook County to come out, take a look and see what projects we have identified, that the STIP has identified, including some projects on Oregon 6 that we are advancing to start early. And you can certainly ask us questions about ongoing construction projects as well too. So I'll send more information to Isabel as well too, so you can post it on your website as well. But March 23rd, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Port of Tillamook Bay. One other piece of information I want to share with folks is that we now have an opportunity for you to review what's going to be constructed in the summer of 2023. I had sent Isabel a link to an online construction open house where folks can put in your address and you can look by county or by city and you can see what projects are coming up for this summer. You can sign up for requests to get feedback or text when information changes as far as traffic patterns or any kind of schedule updates on those construction projects. So look forward to taking comments from people and informing folks on what the busy construction season is going to be around the state and also in Tillamook County. That's all I have for today, Commissioner. I'll take any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that update. Are there questions for Bill this morning?
Commissioner, I just wanted to thank Bill for the open house that he was just talking about that happened at the Port of Tillamook Bay. He was there. We met in person there. We'd met on this call before. Mm-hmm. And the sheriff was there. There were a lot of people there, I agree. And I just thought it was an outstanding event. It was really well done. The materials were good. There were lots of staff available to talk about things. It was well organized, so we were able to move around the room and look at the areas of concern and look at the proposed solutions and add our input if there were things that we're worried about that weren't identified or weren't listed, and if we have ideas for solutions that weren't listed. So it was a really great community outreach event. So I want to say thanks, and thanks to ODOT for all the work they're doing in Tillamook County, and in particular on Highway 6.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Commissioner. I will use this opportunity to jump in really quickly. I've talked before about the Northwest Act, the Northwest Area Committee on Transportation, of which I sit on for the county. We have that meeting Thursday morning this week, Thursday afternoon this week. We will be in Astoria. You can attend those meetings in person, or you can sign on remotely. And so there is a link to that meeting on the Northwest Act webpage. If you search Northwest Act, it's very easy to find, so I won't try to give it to you as a link. But it's an opportunity to hear directly from ODOT, as you get to do here, but in a little more depth. There's also an opportunity at the beginning of that meeting for public comment. So if you have something that you would like to get to ODOT informationally, there's a couple ways to do that. One of them is to join us at the Northwest Act to make a public comment. You can also go to the Ask ODOT link, go to their webpage, search Ask ODOT, and there's a great place where you can put your question in, and they will answer your question every time. It's a fabulous service. And it gives them a record of concerns that people have when you use the Ask ODOT link. So I just want to let you know that ODOT is here and listening. They're here with us today to share. They will be at the Northwest Act on Thursday afternoon listening, and that's from 1 to 3, or actually 1 to 3:30. And they always are listening with Ask ODOT. So if you feel that you have information they should have, please feel free to share it with them. And that is in addition to the open houses that we have been talking about this morning already, that were done for Highway 6 and will be done again for Highway 6, and that related to the STIP plan. So please take advantage of those and get your voice heard with ODOT. So thank you for being here, Bill. We really appreciate you taking the time to come and speak to everyone in our community.
Sure. Thank you, commissioners.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll move on to the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Bell, would you like to kick us off?
Sure, thank you. Well, as we talked about briefly when Eric Swanson gave his update for Adventist Health Tillamook, the Tillamook Bay Community College Board of Education, which I'm on, met last night at Adventist Health Tillamook for our monthly meeting, which was great. It was really nice to be in that space and meet some people who work in the hospital and connect with Eric. And one of the connections between the hospital and the college is that the hospital is very supportive of the nursing program that the college has in development. We don't have a nursing program yet because we're developing it, and there's a long sequence of events that has to happen in order to develop a program with the State Board of Nursing, and so we're in that process. So I just want to clarify that, but we're very confident that it's moving forward, and we're really, really pleased and grateful for our partnership with the hospital. So local nursing students currently, well, I'll back up 1 second. Tillamook Community College is the only community college in the state that doesn't yet have a nursing program, but we certainly have desperate need for nurses in the community. So currently, local women and men, local students who want to be nurses can sign up here, but then they have to go to other colleges to do their work. And so this will bringing a nursing program here to Tillamook is just so exciting for a lot of reasons. It's exciting for people who want to get a good job and stay here in this community, for people who don't want to have to move to go to school because for a variety of reasons, maybe they already have kids, maybe they have a home here, they don't want to move. And so they'll be able to stay here, go to school here, and do their internship here with the hospital and perhaps with Tillamook County Health Department also, and get jobs here. And so, there's such a shortage of nursing that people are almost assured that they'll go through the program and be hired. And so it's really a great opportunity for our healthcare sector that's desperately short of nurses, and for local people to get good family wage jobs that will carry them through the rest of their working lives. So it's very exciting. And we heard an update last night on the nursing program, where it's at. It's in its stages of development, and it looks like we're starting to hire people to pull it together, and it looks like we may start accepting students into the program less than a year from now for the winter of 24. And so I encourage people to check that out. Contact the college if you're interested. If you're interested as a student, that's you want to check in sooner than that, because there may very well be prerequisites that you could be doing between now and then that will help set you up for success in the winter of 24. And also there will be opportunities for locals to work in that program as local nurses, to work in the program as adjunct teachers. So that's very exciting. We also heard a thrilling update about a continuing education program. TVCC does great work in continuing education and in educating people to work in local industry. And so we heard this terrific update about we are in the process of developing a education in the trades program, in construction trades specifically, which is great because we've been talking about that. I've been asking about that for a number of years because there's a shortage of skilled people working in the trades in our community. And we learned when we went to Washington, D.C., that there will be infrastructure money flowing out of Washington, D.C. for maybe the next 8 years. And so we need more skilled tradespeople in our community. We'll need all those jobs. And if we don't have people from here who are capable of doing those jobs, we'll end up having to hire people from out of the area. And we'd just rather work with local people, local skilled people to do good work and have great jobs. So check in with TVCC about the skilled construction trades program that we heard about last night. It's very exciting. And there will be an opportunity for some classroom work and also on the job training, so to speak, practical experience learning the construction trades. So I was thrilled about that. And the last thing I want to talk about is the library. The library I've talked about this before, that we're in the process of strategic planning. So we're doing community listening sessions. And there's one tonight at Manzanita at 6 o'clock at the Manzanita Library. And then there's one tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and it's virtual. So, I think I misspoke. It's tomorrow evening at 7 virtually. So if you're interested in attending the virtual meeting tomorrow at 7 from anywhere in the community, you can call the library and they'll give you the link, or Manzanita in person tonight at 6, and also next week, Garibaldi at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And so we're wrapping up these community listening sessions. So please, you can visit the county website, go onto the library page, and click on the library calendar to get the calendar of these times. And pretty soon, by the end of this month, we'll wrap up these listening sessions and then move into the next stage of strategic planning. But one thing that's exciting is that in the process of these listening sessions, we've heard from people how much they miss the programming that the library had pre-pandemic. The library did a lot of really dynamic things pre-pandemic, and we've heard that from people. And so already, so we have some of those things on the calendar. So for instance, the Oregon Humanities Conversations are coming back to the library. And this coming Saturday, March 11th, they're having an Oregon Humanities Conversation project on housing and belonging. And I won't read it to you, but you could go onto the library Facebook page and read about it, or you could go onto the library website and read about it. But here's the important thing. Saturday, March 11th at 3 o'clock, this is a registration required event, and it will be a small group of people. So if you're interested in participating in the Oregon Humanities Conversation Project on housing and belonging, please call the library and register for that today. Sign up to get in on that today, because that should be a great conversation. And then the next Wednesday, there's a very fun sounding workshop and concert that the workshop is for harps. People of all ages can play with harps, learn to play harps. It's at 11 o'clock, and then there will be a concert at 3. So the concert is Celtic harps, rare instruments, wonderful stories. So that's a whole day of music, workshop, and concert next Wednesday, March 15th at the library. So there's lots of great things going on in our community, and I encourage you to check them out. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate that. I've just been notified that the sheriff may actually have joined us, so I'm going to pause for a second. Sheriff Brown, are you with us? Okay, perhaps it's one of those kind of funky numbers that goes with private numbers. So maybe that is not his. Okay, so we'll keep moving through our commissioners. Commissioner Yamamoto, you're up.
Thank you so much. Things have been kind of busy around here. So last Tuesday after this community call, we had a Tillamook Lightwave meeting, and that was a great meeting. We did hear, however, that there's a possibility that the Port of Tillamook Bay may be withdrawing from Tillamook Lightwave. They just don't feel that Tillamook Lightwave is the right place for them to be, even though they've been part of this IGA, this intergovernmental agency, for the lifetime of Tillamook Lightwave, probably 23 years or so. It's unknown yet whether that is actually going to happen or not, but the conversation has started in that area. But we've got a lot of exciting things going on at Tillamook Lightwave with the Amazon cable. And I'm going to have a conversation with Bill Jablonski after this meeting. There's another issue that I'd love to have a conversation with him about concerning Tillamook Lightwave and especially the Amazon cable. So stay tuned. We'll see how that conversation goes. Thursday and Friday, I spent at ONC Timberlands meeting. I'm on the board of directors there. Oregon and California Timberlands, ONC lands, are just they're part of BLM's land holdings in Oregon, and these are former lands that were dedicated to railroad building through Oregon in the early 1900s. And the land that was not utilized was turned into Oregon and California timberlands. It's separate than U.S. Forest Service. It is separate than BLM lands. And in Tillamook County, we have several thousand acres, and we do get pretty good money off of that. It's a separate deal where we deal with the Bureau of Land Management. We have a great relationship with BLM, and we want to make sure that continues. So we had dinner Thursday night, the 2nd, and our meeting was held on Friday the 3rd, and different counties host this. This one was hosted by Jackson County, and Jackson County actually owns the airport in Medford. And it's a beautiful, it's a small airport, but it's a beautiful airport. They have passenger service through there. We had a meeting upstairs in one of their meeting rooms, and they actually have a replica of the Oval Office upstairs. And so we all took some pictures sitting behind a presidential desk in the Oval Office. We took a group picture also. We had some great conversations there, and it was a great day. It really was. Came home Friday night. We had some issues. All of a sudden, I found out that SB 85, Senate Bill 85, dealing with CAFOs, confined animal feeding operations, was up at 8 a.m. and I was asked if I could testify. And I said, yeah, absolutely. I've testified about legislation that wanted to do away with CAFOs or restrict CAFOs before. This is another attempt to do that. Senator Golden and mostly Senator Dembro are involved in this. And there's a -1 amendment out on SB 85 now. And what that would do, basically until 2031, it would kind of halt the issue of new CAFOs being licensed, or even licenses renewed in many instances. So this is a bad piece of legislation. There were so many people there. They had to carry over the meeting. We filled 2 of their large meeting rooms with people from all over the state dealing with CAFOs. So that was time well spent. I spent the rest of the day after my testimony meeting with legislators. I will be back on Wednesday, although not to Salem. On Wednesday, I'm testifying before the Board of Forestry about about the Habitat Conservation Plan, the HCPs. You've heard me talk about this ad nauseum. The way that things are going right now with decreased timber revenue, this is really going to hurt. It's really going to hurt a lot of counties, especially Clatsop County, even Washington County. So the Washington County Board of Commissioners are very interesting. Jerry Willey, commissioner from Western Washington County, has been a firm supporter of what we're doing on the Council of Forest Trust Land Counties. And most recently, we have seen a change in attitude from the other commissioners who oftentimes would attend FTLAC meetings, Forest Trust Land Advisory Committee meetings, and really not support what the Forest Trust Lands Advisory Committee was doing. But there has been a direct change in direction from the entire Washington County Board of Commissioners now. My understanding, the Washington County is under some monetary distress, and they're finding that the timber revenue that Washington County receives from the Forest Grove District is a part of their budget that they don't want to lose. At the same time, there are several special districts in Western Washington County, which are going to be devastated by what's happening right now with the HCP and the IP, the implementation plan. So we've had a little change in attitude from the Board of Commissioners as a whole since this IP came out. So that's good news. We've got their full support now, which is terrific. So my testimony before the Board of Forestry in Corvallis on Wednesday is going to be very interesting. I'm hoping people watch the meeting. On Thursday the 9th, I'm going to be spending the whole day in Salem. I'm testifying on HB 3201, which is Representative Marsh's broadband bill. And so what we're having to do right now, we're having to make sure that the rules that are coming out of Business Oregon, and again, I'm a member of OBAC, the Oregon Broadband Advisory Council. We are an advisory council to Business Oregon and the Broadband Office. We are in full support of this HB 3201. The telecom industry, however, is adamantly against this. And especially in rural counties, this won't affect the metro areas as much because there's lots of competition in the metro areas. But the way the current broadband rules are written in the state of Oregon, even if you have just cell phone service, 3G or 4G cell phone service, that is considered currently that is considered adequate internet access for areas, especially in rural counties, which is really problematical. And they can challenge another company or organization like Tillamook Lightwave coming in and wanting to put fiber in the ground and actually provide true high-speed internet. So these and many other issues are being changed in House Bill 3201. So we need to make sure that we support that very much. And the rest of the day on Thursday, again, I've got meetings with legislators. We're talking about all kinds of things. We're talking about the dairy CAFOs. We're talking about forestry issues. We're talking about broadband issues. We just need to make sure our legislators understand where we stand on all these issues. So things are really busy. Friday the 10th and Monday the 13th, I believe it is, AOC days going on, where we have steering committee meetings on Friday, and then in-person steering committee meetings in Salem on Monday, along with the legislative committee and the board meeting for AOC. So things are staying really busy on this end. They really are. So stay tuned, and we will make sure that we bring all the best information that we have to you, the people of Tillamook County. So thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Any questions for the commissioner? Okay, not hearing any, we will keep trucking along and I will make a few remarks. I'm going to keep mine a little more local, although I am also keeping an eye on and just testified on a couple of bills and we'll keep doing that work, but I have been doing it from here. So thank you, Commissioner Yamamoto, for making the trip to Salem and being that strong presence there, while Commissioner Bell and I hold down the House. A couple things coming up that I think people would want to know about. One of them is that the commissioners have heard repeatedly that people would like to attend some of the meetings that we hold because they are of public interest and that people cannot attend during the day. So I want to be clear that we are not moving our regular commission meetings to the evening. The majority of what happens at those meetings is business related. It is approval of contracts. It is approval of employee positions. It is very often and most commonly the business of the county that simply needs to happen, and it engages with all of our departments, and we're not going to ask all of our departments to shift their schedule. That simply doesn't make efficient and economic sense for the county. So if those meetings are of interest to you, we continue to encourage you to, if you can't be there in person, you can watch it live on TCTV online. You can watch it recorded on TCTV online. You can dial in and listen. If you have that time, you can also pick up a recording of it on our webpage. So our regular meetings are available to you. What we are working on are hearings that have a lot of public interest. And I want to point out a couple of hearings that are coming up next week that have a lot of public interest. We expect, and we have scheduled them in the evening. So we have what is called a remand hearing for a Goal 18 exception. All of that is land use lingo. But some of you may remember there was a land use decision that was made relating to putting a structure in Rockaway Beach in front of homes that are currently having flooding issues due to the larger king tides that we're seeing and due to the movement of sand between the jetties at the Nehalem River and at Tillamook Bay. So there's some really kind of different things going on there that are causing houses that have never been flooded before to be flooded. And so there was a conversation land use decision that was made to allow some revetment on the beachfront. And this was appealed to LUBA, the Land Use Board of Appeals, and it was sent back to us to look again at our decision and to just provide some more information to them regarding what supports our decision. So that's what's a remand hearing. The Land Use Board of Appeals says, we see what you're doing, but we want to ask you for some more information. So we have two of those this week. One of them is for that revetment for Rockaway Beach, and that hearing will start at 5 p.m. on Tuesday the 14th. It is scheduled to go until 8:30 p.m. That you can go onto the community development webpage and you can find the link for that so that you can attend it remotely if you would like to do so. I believe there's also an in-person option, and that information is also available on the community development website. So that is an evening hearing that's happening next week. We also have an evening hearing next week on Thursday the 16th to hear another remand. This one is relating to the Tree House Campground in Tierra del Mar. This is one that, again, land use decision was made, went to the Land Use Board of Appeals under appeal, and they have asked us to give further clarification on our decision. So it's coming back to us. That meeting is scheduled also from 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So please know that your commissioners have heard you, that some of these hearings really would benefit from public participation. And so we have scheduled those at a time that we hope will provide for greater public participation. Please do realize that for your commissioners, this would make a 12-hour or more day if we were in at our regular time. So you might also expect that there might be a little flexing of schedules so that we can stay sharp all the way until 8:30 or 9 p.m. So those are coming, and just know that as we go into the future, additional hearings we will be that we feel are of great interest to the public. We will do our best to schedule those into the evening when we can have a greater attendance. So another way that we invite you to participate in your government, because that is one of the key things in our democracy, is to participate in your government, would be the upcoming budget workshops for the county. And I just want to get those out there for people. If you're interested, I apologize. These are not all happening in the evening. 2 of them, in fact, are full days from 9 to 5. And we just don't have the time in the evening to get those scheduled. So the first budget workshop will take place April 11th, and it goes from 9 to 5. It is here at the Commissioners Meeting Room. There is the option to listen into that if you would like to do that. You can find that information on our calendar, and certainly the option to join in those meetings, join and listen to us in person if you would like. The second budget workshop is on Wednesday, the 12th. That one is from 1 to 5. And there is a third budget workshop on the 13th that goes from 9 to 4. So we will be hearing from each and every department about their budgets, and we will be hearing from the treasurer related to the funding that is available. And we will be making decisions on that not until May, but we will be providing the treasurer with some initial guidance relating to what we've heard and what we need her to do in terms of additional mathematical work to help us find our path forward. So again, if you are interested in county budget, we invite you to join us for those. If you're unable to and you have questions or concerns, please remember you can reach out to your treasurer, Sean Blanchard. You can reach out to any of your commissioners. We'll be happy to talk with you about budget. It is a very challenging process each year, but we look forward to making sure that your critical county services are funded. Okay, a couple of other things. Housing Commission. We did have our Housing Commission last week, and just a quick report out on some of the work that was done there. We have completed the 3 major tasks that we were given by the community in our last housing summit about in 2017. That was getting the ADU ordinance completed, getting the property tax abatement completed, and getting a grant fund underway for housing subsidy. All of that has happened for our Housing Commission. So now we are looking at other strategies that we would like to work toward. And specifically, Thomas Fiorelli, our housing coordinator, brought forward some local housing production strategies that came in an amazing table that he had drawn from, I believe it was some possibly state work, but we're going through that now and saying, so what's next? What are the pieces that we as a housing commission can put our energy toward for creating an environment that is welcoming to developers and is likely to encourage the type of low income and workforce middle housing that we need. So that was an exciting opportunity to just start to dig into what our next major initiatives will be. Also at that meeting, we talked about the housing fund. I think I've spoken about on here and at other meetings that we did our first round of grants out of our multifamily housing grant fund this last year. And we are now looking at the next year and determining if we will have the same process or if we will add additional opportunities for funding. One of the pieces that we're looking at is there a way to support single family home development? We know that that is a desire that people here have, would like the opportunity for our workforce to be able to live in a single family home and ultimately purchase that on their own. So we're looking to see if there are developer incentives that might encourage that kind of develop at an affordable level. So just know your Housing Commission, again, is doing a lot of work to try to figure out how we make an impact in the housing crisis that we are experiencing. The last thing I'm going to talk about is just that in terms of funding, know that your county commissioners, your department heads always have our eyes open for funding that might be able to provide services in our county, particularly things that we just don't have the money to fund, either because the money is otherwise committed or attached to specific services, or just because we don't have enough. So there's a couple of things coming up, grants that the county looks to participate in. One is a grant to continue the good work of our Tillamook, which has been coordinating our opioid response work or our substance use work here. And there's a grant that the county is looking to be the backbone or the fiscal agent for that will allow that our Tillamook work to continue full speed ahead. So know that that is going on. There is also some work being done in our court system to bring a family treatment court to fruition, and we will be looking to partner with them on a grant so that we have the funding we need for that. So do know that our property taxes and timber revenue alone barely support the required services of the county. It's a challenge for us, and so we do utilize a lot of other funding sources to provide for services for those in our county who need them. So no, we're always have our eyes open for that. Okay, with that, I'm going to end my comments, and we're going to go on to our cities. So first, I have Manzanita, Leila Aman.
Good morning, Commissioner. Can you hear me?
Good morning. I can.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I have a short update today. Just wanted to highlight that we have a short-term rental survey that's live on the city's website. So encourage folks that are Manzanita residents, homeowners, visitors to please take that survey and provide us with your input. You can access it by going to the city's website. I also just want to highlight too that we still have a part-time public works position that's open. So if you're interested in coming to work for a great city and a great department, please take a look at that position. It's posted on the city's website. And finally, this week marks the last week that we will be holding both our City Council work session and our City Council regular business session on the same day, which will be Wednesday, March 8th. The work session begins at 3 p.m. and the regular session begins at 6 p.m. And just as a reminder again to folks that starting in April, the business meeting will be held on the first Wednesday after the first Monday of each month. And then the following Wednesday at 2 p.m. virtually, the meeting will be held for the work session. So with that, I'll thank you for your time.
Thank you, Leila. Appreciate that. Okay. Rockaway Beach. Do we have Mayor Charles McNeely with us today?
Good morning. Mayor is in the house.
All right. Welcome back.
Thank you. It was a vacation for the record books. Just a handful of things this morning. We had a well-attended Lake Lytle boat launch project workshop for business owners and residents of Rockaway Beach. And as they say, if you ask, folks will show up and participate in visioning. So very exciting project for our community. As many of you are facing, budget meetings begin early next month for us, and with adoption by the end of May. As this will be my first public budgeting experience, I'm taking the League of Oregon Cities Public Budgeting 101 course tonight. I'd add that one of the things that I am enjoying most about being mayor is all the learning opportunities that are out there for me. I love to go to school. Third, Rockaway Beach is looking to recruit additions to staff. We're going to be looking for a city recorder, a plant operator, a fire department officer, and a code enforcement officer. And let me just say, this is a great time to be part of the Rockaway Beach community. And then fourth, at Wednesday's council meeting, the council will appoint a new city councilor. I'm thrilled that we received 6 applications with some fresh new voices in the mix. Interestingly, our charter does not speak to the process of appointment, only that the council does the appointing. So Councilor McGinnis researched the process at other cities, and we modeled our process after the city of Ben's. And then last, and perhaps for me, the most exciting news is that City Manager Shepard shared with me the engineering diagrams for enhanced beach access at the Wayside here in Rockaway Beach. We're going to construct a stairway and a ramp down to the beach. And this is a project that has been very, very much asked for by our community, and very excited to see this coming to fruition, although we still are working through approval from the state. So that's all, folks, and back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you so much, Mayor. It sounds like lots of good stuff going on in Rockaway Beach. Okay, how about Mayor Tim Hall from Garibaldi?
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, we can.
Yes. First, I'd like to invite all of Tillamook County to the Lions Club's annual crab races, which will be held this Saturday and Sunday, March 11th and 12th, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday and 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. The event is going to be held at the Old Mill Center at 210 3rd Street in Garibaldi. There's prizes, food, beverages, and a lot of fun. This is a fundraising event to support hearing and sight testing in Tillamook County with the Lions Club. The cost for the event is $5 for adults, $2 for kids aged 6 to 12, and kids under 5 are free. This is as I said, an amazing fundraising event. This is the 36th year that the city that Garibaldi has had the crab races, and this year the city of Garibaldi is proud to be a sponsor. That's all that I have this morning, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. And I would just say, if you haven't made it to the crab races, you really should. It's a lot of fun, and it's one of those crazy things that is a certain amount chance, but there are a lot of people there who take it very seriously. So watch for their tips and tricks, because there's some people that seem to win pretty regularly when I was watching. So definitely go and enjoy. It's kind of like the pig in Fort, and that it's just one of those absolutely crazy things that I think happens almost uniquely in Tillamook County.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Bay City, Mayor Dave McCall.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. I'm here.
Good morning.
So all I would like to report on is a reminder, next week, on Tuesday evening, we will be having our regular City Council meeting. A couple interesting things on the agenda. So we'll start off with our second public hearing for tax exemption for multi-unit housing developments that we talked about before, and just some other interesting things that we will have on there. Take a look towards the end of the week. It'll be up on our website, available to everybody. Once again, that's next week, Tuesday the 14th at 6 p.m. in the community hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. City of Tillamook, City Manager Nathan George.
Good morning, Commissioner. Can you hear me okay?
Good morning, we can.
Good, fantastic. I just wanted to make one comment on what you talked about with your meetings in the daytime, and that makes perfect sense. Administrative in the city, though, we typically have our public meetings at night. We can't do, the city council doesn't do the administrative items that you're referring to, and those things are taking place during the daytimes with our staff as well. So I just wanted to iterate that makes complete sense. Last night we had a council meeting. I want to go over that really briefly here. We had a presentation by the Tillamook Revitalization Association and the things that they're working on. The big thing they're working on is working with Councilor Henson to create and build a Veterans Memorial on what we typically call Shell Island, which is the piece of land that is between First Street, Pacific, and Avenue, and where that Shell station used to be. So they've got a lot of exciting things coming up, and we appreciate them being there. We had two appointments to Planning Commission, both reappointments that were on the Planning Commission before. We also had requests to support the Tillamook County Legislative Housing Pilot Program. So I wanted to thank Sarah Asher from the Tillamook County Community Development Department being there and presenting for us. We really appreciate it, and also our city planner, Tommy. And the city council does agree with the consensus, and they want to move forward with supporting the county on that program. So we're very excited about that. We also had a chance to look at our council rules, looking at some new formats, and the original one that the council has chosen to keep what we originally have in place. So that will continue through our codification process. And moving on to the next section, that's regarding our codification, the council held the first reading to adopt an ordinance that readopts our entire code. Our code, as I've mentioned before, had not been codified for 10 years, which basically means that all the the resolutions had never been included. They are now included, but the ordinances and resolutions are now all updated into our code book. The ordinance just basically readopts the whole thing to make sure it's all combined and together and able to move forward. And from there on out, as I have explained, all of our ordinances will now be codified immediately. Well, within 3 months, they'll be put on our website. It'll be clear to the public what has been approved, what is pending, what's going forth, and then what's been adopted in our code book. So everybody can access it now anytime online, see our code, and it'll be available to everybody so they can look at it and use it, which is especially helpful not only for the public, for us internally. I've estimated that the city has spent over the past 10 years hundreds of thousands of dollars in staff time alone just looking at ordinances and the codes because it wasn't readily available, which is a huge waste of money. But we are now where we need to be, and we will have one more second reading that will be fully adopted. Also, I gave an operations report, and I won't go over that whole report, but I will say that every month that is posted on the first meeting of the month, and that's available to the public and it stays on our website. Mayor gave an update, so he attended the Housing Commission. We had a little discussion on the Tillamook County Food Fair booth. The council, again, wants to have a booth, and so they'll be trying to staff it. And as long as it's not regarding any legislative council issues, we'll be able to have staff there. Last year, we had the councilors there staffing it in promotions of the fuel tax. And by Oregon law, we can't have employees involved in this, so they weren't there. But this year, it'll be more of just a promotional booth for the city. In that case, we will have some staff there. Also, we had several comments from council. They thanked the city staff for clearing the snow. Also thanked a lot of the community for their hard work for charity drives at the school. I guess they were able to raise $185,000. Also thanked everyone working, helping plow snow, especially those who are farmers and other folks who were able to help out. So really appreciate that. In the Public Works Department, Public Works will have the street sweeper out today to catch up some of the much needed sweeping. We'll also help pick up some of the gravel left over from the snowstorm. Public Works crews will be working on water meter maintenance this week and changing out water meters accordingly. Technicians at both the water plant and the wastewater treatment plant are working on general maintenance issues to keep our plants running smoothly and as efficient as possible. Public Works has a couple of technicians in locator training this week. After they complete this course, we will have over half of our Public Works staff certified in locating utilities. We are the ones that go out and locate a lot of utilities for our systems. Just a reminder to reach out to Public Works at tillamookor.gov with any questions or inquiries. Once again, that's Public Works at tillamookor.gov. Eventually, as we get into our new website, I will be creating or having general emails for different departments so that people can get faster response instead of having individual names with individual emails, and sometimes people move or they change places. We'll actually have department emails where people can have continual contact despite changes in the organization. In the Tillamook Police Department, in order to maximize staff resources and create greater efficiency, the main office staff for the police department has also moved to a Monday through Thursday schedule, working 10 hours a day. Now, this is just for the office staff in the police department. This now aligns with all city departments. However, even when the office is closed, the sign is on the door with the non-emergency dispatch number, so a resident or citizen can always get a hold of an officer, as we have law enforcement from the city 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Also, these numbers are usually only included in the monthly city operations report that are provided to council, which is also available online, as I said earlier. However, I thought it would be of interest to include today's update for the month of February, which were the following. Calls of service was 1,001. This is just for the police department. Traffic stops are 212. Citations were 142, and arrests were 25. Once again, and that's just for the month of February. Remember, if you see something, say something by calling 911 or the non-emergency dispatch number. Posting on social media does not address the issue. The city recorder position will be a name only with the city manager in order to properly align the city structure and the city's charter. However, the deputy city recorder position, deputy city recorder position will be posted later this week and will fulfill all the usual duties of the city recorder. So that's essentially that I am the city manager and also be the city recorder. However, there's no change in what I do. There's no change in salary, nothing. It's better to align with our charter and our current structure. So this is also the same structure that's used in many cities in Oregon, and especially almost all of our cities here in Tillamook County. So some of the duties will be moved from the former assistant to the city manager position to the newly formed deputy city manager position, deputy city recorder position, excuse me. Not a deputy city manager, deputy city recorder. And finally, a part-time administrative assistant position for the city manager's office will be posted this week. So it's a little confusing, but essentially we'll have a deputy city recorder who fills all the city recorder positions. It's just simply a matter of meeting our city structure along with our city charter. The next regular council meeting will be held on Monday, February 20th at 7 p.m. We encourage anyone and everyone that would like to attend to either be there in person or attend online. Those desiring to attend online can find the information on the city's website or call the city for assistance. That's all I have, Commissioner. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate the update. Okay, so before I move on to South County, I got a text just reminding me that the Solid Waste Budget Committee for the county is looking for members. So if you are interested in our solid waste system and would like to be a member on that budget committee, you can reach out to the commissioner's office and we will get an application and get you started in that process. So thank you, Treasurer Blanchard, for reminding me that again. She did it last week and I forgot to say it. So you know, we love to have people involved in our governance. Again, that's what I started this meeting with is it is your government, right? We're here to work with you. We're here to represent. We're here to engage with you. So these committee positions are great ways to do that. We invite you to look to see if Solid Waste Budget Committee might be the right engagement for you. Okay, moving on to our last presentation of the morning, South County with Doug Olson. Doug.
Well, good morning, Commissioner from South County. The sun is out a little bit, so things are looking up. Commissioner Yamamoto mentioned all the stuff that's going on in Salem, and I've been around this stuff for a long time, and I guess the only thing I would offer is if you're not paying attention, at least some of the time, you may be disappointed and quite surprised because the people over there have a lot of issues before them. Many of them affect what we do in Tillamook County, including fishing and farming, dairy farming, ranching, retail sales, highways, and so on. And if you don't want to have a very unpleasant surprise, you really should pay attention. We have our representatives and senators to look after our interests, but they need to hear from us as well. So it wouldn't hurt to read the newspapers and pay attention. So having said that, I'll talk about Tillamook PUD. I'll put my director hat on for a moment. This afternoon, the board meets to consider 27 applications for our annual community grant program. We have only $90,000, but that's quite a bit of money, and it gets spread around the community, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 at a time. And it's been going on, I think, now almost 20 years, and a lot of good things have happened from that. So today we'll look at 27 applications asking for roughly $250,000, and unfortunately they can't all be funded, but nonetheless, there'll be a fair amount of money goes into our community for quite a number of improvement projects on and a whole wide variety of things from ballparks and private schools and other things. So more to come on that one. And then finally today at noon, we have our monthly Pacific City Nestucca Valley Chamber of Commerce meeting at the Kiawanda Community Center at noon. Got a couple of interesting things. We have David Sears, who is the new chair of the South County Emergency Management Corps. And that's the group that has done what folks in Manzanita have done for several years, is build up a large bank of information and resources to help us when something bad happens. And it's not just this tsunami and earthquake that we look forward to one of these days, but wildfires and even the heavy snow and ice that we just had. What happens when we lose power and are unable to get out? What happens if we need medical assistance? All those kinds of things. So we're going to talk about that today at the chamber. And then also we have from the high school coming down Chad Holloway and Misty Wharton, and they're going to talk about Bike Oregon. And I believe that's part of the Cycle Oregon program that's been around the state for quite a number of years. It happens in early September, sometime right after Labor Day, and bikers ride all over the state of Oregon for several hundred miles, over a week. And this year they're coming through Pacific City. I'm not sure if we'll need to put them up on a campground or they're just going to come through and want some refreshments, but we'll learn more about that today as well. So in my recollection, that's the first time the bikers have been through South Tillamook County. And this program's been going on for quite some time. So more to come. We'll learn about that today at noon. So if you've got an extra hour or so, come to the chamber meeting at the Kiowanda Community Center, and we guarantee you'll know more at the end of the meeting than you did at the start. That's our ironclad guarantee. So come on down and learn. And Commissioner, that's about it for this week. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you, Doug. We appreciate your updates from South County. Okay, that will wrap up our meeting for today. So I'd like to thank KTIL for broadcasting, everyone for attending, and I will adjourn this meeting at 9:04. Thank you, everyone. Have a fabulous day.